Hi, hi. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, 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 hi. It starts in 3 minutes. Ba 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 ba. Right. We're just gonna go straight into it. Um I guess we're not really gonna be waiting too much. I'm hoping we get story implications with everything. That's kind of the main one, really. Happy Fast Day, everyone. Howbie. Um Also, for some reason, every time I have I'm hoping it's extensive. I hope it's not a 2 minute thing. This is gonna be really stupid as well. If it's gonna be a 2 minute thing, and it's just like, oh god, why is it a 2 minute thing? I swear to God, it's like, oh, it's 7 minutes of gameplay, cool, but I want 7 minutes of combat play. Give me something extensive. I hope they give me something extensive to enjoy, because that's the main thing. I really am hoping that they fix this. So yeah, hi everyone, happy Father's Day. Welcome to stream. We watched the Sonic gameplay back on Tuesday, and now we're gonna watch the combat gameplay. So that means there may even be a third one for story. So we'll see how this works out for everybody involved. We'll see how this works out for everybody involved. What are we expecting? That's the question. Because we know what the gameplay looks like. We do understand that it's mainly focused on trapping and attacking. Trap and attack. That's what I've got as an understanding right now. So like I said, we'll see what we're working with here. If people do want to see it for themselves, eventually it's going to go live here. And I'm going to post it where it needs to be posted, because people need to remember that it exists. There we go. That's for you. I'm surprised. I mean, we are going to be getting Street Fighter gameplay too. Next week is going to be State of Summer Games Fest, and Jeff Keighley is going to be live. And, we all know how much he's my best friend, clearly. So I need to, oh, it said it's going to premiere now. Is it live? Is it working? It should be apparently starting now. Nope, it's late. Oh, there we go. We got a 10-second probably premiere. No one cares. We're here for a premiere. Why am I seeing this right now? Oh, God. Still another 2 minutes. It's a little loud for me. Is it okay for everybody else? Can everyone hear it okay? Are we all good? Are we seeing what we're needing to see? We'll see how this works out for everybody involved. Come on, it's Morbin time. Show Chow Garden. I mean, to be fair, if there is Chow Garden, I'm pretty sure that would be a plus, This music. I mean, I like how they've changed the background, the TV test code. They've changed it to something new now. Which I'm happy with, I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of cool. I like it. Unless this is actually IGN's video. Which could be, It could be. "20 seconds left. Why did they just tell us that there was going to be multiple videos? They just said it's going to be throughout June, but didn't give us much of an idea. That means this is going to be really drip fred. Yo, Jazim, howbie? We're going to be playing Smash later, Jazz, if you do want to join in. I'm going to snooze that for right now. Alright, let's see what we're working with here. Oh! This is the screenshot from yesterday. This is how they started yesterday.
Look at Sonic Frontiers gameplay. This time focusing on combat. Sonic is up against an all-new set of baddies, some of which are among the most massive bosses we've ever seen in a Sonic game. Fortunately, Sonic's got some new tricks up his sleeve. Make sure to stick with IGN all throughout June because we've got a full hands-on preview and interviews from the developers in store. For now, though, enjoy the combat of Sonic.
Okay, so there's 2 more videos that's going to be established here. It's orange this time instead of blue. Alright, there we go. Look. The gameplay that they deliberately avoided yesterday, on Tuesday. Oh, okay. Oh, we got a dodge. So they've shifted the side dash into dodge buttons. Okay, so it's not just simply mash one button to win. This is not a one button wins all type situation, but I'm not sure why why this new move is introduced. Oh, okay, we got dive kicks, we got rider kicks. Okay, so it does take effort to do. Okay. So has he lost all his rings there? So it looks like it's a defensive system, because if you look at it, there's the core, and then there is... Oh, that's cool! I'm not gonna lie, that's cool! Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was cool. Okay. So you can't straight up... Not everything... Oh, okay. That kicking move looks cool, I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty badass. He's stranding his destructo disc. Okay. We don't get to see much of the UI. So this is an enemy we didn't spot yesterday. The day before yesterday. I didn't see this. He gets the rider kick, which is cool. I'm not gonna lie, I like the visual flair. I'm not sure why he does the weird spinning thing. Like, the spinning thing doesn't make too much sense, but... Oh, okay, that's cool. You can still, like, homing attack him while he's in the air. Like, keepy uppy. How do you know how much health they have? I'm wondering what this might be currency. Okay. So this looks like the enemy that we saw in the teaser. This is literally the teaser. So you can't straight up just button mash them. You have to, I mean, probably eventually, like later in the game, maybe. Is that like an insta-kill? I do like how here we go, finally. We don't. I feel like that could have, you know, had a bit of work there. I think that's the Japanese voice actor. And you can't straight up... Oh, okay. Oh, so there's multiple ways you can attack him. You can even trip him up. That's clever. I'm not going to lie. That's actually pretty clever. Hi, Zaf42. I'm not going to lie. I think actually that's a really clever way of going the fight mode. The thing. It does remind me a lot of Metal Gear Rising in that sense, that you had to take off the armor before you could do damage. Okay, so that's a... Oh, that's nice. That's actually really cool. So these enemies do and can stop you from dealing that damage. So you can run around these areas, and you have to make your way into the barrier section. Is he dead? Oh no, he's not. Oh, okay. So they are not making it easy. I don't know if this is a boss or like a one of the many bosses. I think the voice actor that we're seeing or hearing from is the Japanese one. Look, everything in chat is just like W. Everything in chat is in W. Oh, okay, cool. I'm actually liking it a lot. There are some things I don't particularly appreciate, which is some of the animations are a bit weird, because for some reason, it's me being hypercritical. I'm not gonna lie. This is me being hypercritical on this. There's just one of them that I find it to be an issue. And it's the one where he spins around, but it looks like he's meant to be going round the where's the thing? Yeah, it's I don't think that's the full game. I don't think it's as fast. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm mixed about the game right now. I really want to like this, but it's looking really janky in my honest opinion. Hey, that's okay. Completely fine. I ain't gonna think. I actually thought that was good. I actually thought what they'd showed so far was actually pretty decent. It's still not a good way of showing it. That's still the problem at the moment, is we don't fully it's that same problem that we had the other day of the way they've presented this is not good. But I think the gameplay is actually pretty good. I actually think what they're showing is really good. I think combat feels very spammy, just homing attack again and again, and sometimes running around with the light. The thing is, you can't straight up homing attack. That's what they've established here. And the other thing is, like he's saying, it's showing some of his skills. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie. Like if you feel that way, that's okay. There's no reason why you shouldn't. But granted, this is likely early game stuff, but a poor showcase of what could be. Yeah, that's kind of where the problem I'm finding with it, really. Like whenever it comes to defending it, it's frustrating. Because there's definitely there's a lot of good ideas here, and to be honest, based on at least just the reactions that were on the chat, a lot of people were really appreciating what we saw. I actually thought that the way they were doing the mini boss, where you could have two ways to attack, which is you can wait for them to come down, or you can wait for them to stamp, or you can try and trip them up. That's actually a really clever setup. I actually think that's probably one of the best. One of the ideas that are selling me on the gameplay, on the combat, but the downside is it's not showing us how that combat actually works, because like from a point A to point B, which is a bit of an annoyance with the way they've cut this. It's stupid. Also, for the record, I'm not looking to hate this game. I love Sonic since I was like 4, so I just want the series to be really good. No, that's exactly the reason. That's basically the same problem everyone has with the Sonic games. I've said this before, and I've said this again. No one will hate a bad Sonic game. Sorry, no one will hate a good Sonic game. If the game is good, no one's going to hate on it. If it's got a good amount of polish and it's fun to play, regardless of what sort of mechanics you may end up using, it will still hold up. And the problem is that there are similarities, but not enough polish and all of it. You underestimate internet fast. It's not as someone hates everything. It's not that I underestimate the internet. It's more like I fully understand what we're expecting or what we're hoping for as a Sonic fan type situation. But it's just frustrating that this is such a new concept, and the way they market it, well, I say the way they're marketing this, but the way they are presenting this is, I think, is doing more damage than I think is actually helpful. Because I guarantee if they'd showed this along with the information that we got on the teaser on Tuesday, I would have been happier with it, you know? One thing I'll give Shadow the Hedgehog is the amount of guns made the combat varied and interesting. This just looks very repetitive. Here's the problem with that sentiment, is that there's clearly more than one type of skills that are being used for Sonic Frontiers. There is more that we aren't seeing. Whereas Shadow the Hedgehog, that was pre-internet days, that's one, but two, more importantly, when you played the game, there was way more in the game than they could show. Whereas here is they could definitely show all this. This is a bit weird. The problem I'm having with it is it's just a bit weird the way they are handling it. And it's annoying because this could be far more streamlined. That's just it. It could be far more streamlined. And it's really, really annoying. But yeah, we'll get what you're saying. It's a big tone shift for Sonic, so it's going to be something that has to really impress. It sounds like they're not quite doing as much as they should. Yeah, I mean that's a fair shout. That's a fair shout. Like, I feel more like this splitting decision, even if it's split, it's not really. This is a 7-minute video, which is actually not that bad. That's not a bad thing. This is not a bad way of going about it. They've on purpose done this slowly as well. So the way I'm perceiving this, this footage that we're watching at the moment, the way I'm perceiving the way this footage is presented is that it's actually played slower than the game is actually meant to make you play. For example, when you're playing the game, like in Legend of Zelda, you're going from point A to point B. You're not really standing still all that often, and the issue is if you're gonna play. I feel like if they fuse the elements that we saw from the world gameplay, it just frustrates me because I don't know why they've done it the way they have. And I said this on Tuesday, and I'm basically just repeating myself. I really think there is a good game here. I think the way they're presenting, I think what they presented is good, but the way they're presenting it is bad. Sorry, Faz, that comment looked bad. Hey, that's fine. That's fine, Andrew. That's completely fine. Open world games' biggest problems are often how homogenous everything is, and making everything worth exploring interesting is the goal that very few of them hit. That's true. It looks like Shadow from Sonic 06. Did it? I think one of the bigger issues as well is the music choice.
IGN First continues on with yet another look at Sonic Frontiers gameplay, this time focusing on combat.
I feel like the way they presented this combat is terrible.
Which are among the most massive bosses we've ever seen in a Sonic game.
So I feel like the open world Sonic just isn't a good idea. His speed just doesn't match everything, running around and constantly stopping, especially when all the puzzles don't usually use his speed meaningfully. See, that's the problem I'm finding with it, is that I actually think there are speed puzzles. I actually do believe there will be a speed-based thing in the game, but not what they're showing here, and that's kind of the problem. I'm gonna take the wild I'm taking the wild assumption, and like I said, I'm being positive. I'm not gonna lie, I'm being positive, because it's easy to be negative about it and to feel thing about it. But I actually do like what I see. I have seen a lot of. I'm liking what I've seen. At least it didn't even look like there was a decent reward from the enemies with bigger health bars. They dropped the same resources as the weak enemies, which I'm assuming is energy for the special energy Sonic has. At least in, say, Breath of the Wild, defeating enemies gets you weapons. Exactly! That's kind of the problem. The way they've done it with Zelda is that they had the plateau, and they actually explained, when they showed you the gameplay, they literally, the first gameplay reveal they had for that game was literally just you go out the plateau and you actually started doing things. Literally the gameplay that you literally came in from. You don't have that here. They've plopped you in a world that already exists. It sounds more like you've been here for a while. And from your point A to point B, they split the combat and the thing, which they didn't do with Zelda. And if we're using that as a litmus test, it's really annoying to figure out. I'm having to do a lot of the hard work. That's the problem. Me as a fan. I'm having to do all the hard work of fixing the plot holes within this, because the other side of it is we don't know. They're not gonna. Amadeus, let me know if anybody mentions when we're gonna see the interviews and some of the other gameplay stuff. If you do happen to see it. But right now it's like I'm having to do that hard work of figuring out where one thing supposedly starts and one thing supposedly ends. And and on Tuesday we went through this for like Zaf, I don't know if you were here on Tuesday or if you watched it, but on Tuesday we went through the entire thing. It's actually up on YouTube now. The whole thing is annoying because they on purpose move away from from any engaging paths. So anytime you see an enemy, anytime you're dealing with like something, a spot point in the screen where you have to engage with it, it's usually done in such an inoffensive way that it feels very sterile and like kind of boring. They actually, for some reason, it kind of shows they're being boring, and it's somehow probably not. There's probably more here and we aren't seeing it because of whatever, and I am annoyed because if I had seen this gameplay along with the first gameplay, I would have been less offended. I wouldn't say offended, but more like I would be less frustrated with how the response has been, because at the moment it's more like I'm going to play this game when this game comes out. That's going to happen. I am so far liking what I see it when I'm microscoping the entire thing. But that's the problem. I'm doing all of it. Just spam homing attack over and over with the occasional special move. I mean, that's generally Sonic games, let's be fair.
Make sure to stick with IGN all throughout June because we've got a full hands-on preview and interview.
See, the problem here is the full hands-on preview. The full hands-on preview should have been now. I don't understand why this is really annoying. I don't understand why they've split it into 4 parts. It's annoying. I understand if they wanted to do, like, they should have just done 2 videos. One that was a full hands-on preview and one that was with the developers. Do not understand why they've done it this way. This is really goddamn annoying. Because then we have an understanding of what we're seeing. We can make a judgment for ourselves, and then you can still decide whether you want to do the interview and see what's going on. But this is, do the interview first. Do the interview first. I'm having to. That's the problem. Is like I'm not frustrated. I'm not frustrated with the game. I'm frustrated with the presentation. Like I said, I'm just gonna quickly reread the chat because I did skip a lot. Honestly, it feels like it just isn't as good idea speed-wise. It doesn't look like there was a decent reward. Yeah, that's true. At least in, say, Breath of the Wild. Even though if there are generation-style levels, most of the game is still going to be in the open zone. So you're fighting to fight more. 100% nailed it. Why isn't Sonic? Which isn't Sonic? I mean, it's that... I don't know. It depends. Like I said, the story probably could justify those reasonings a bit better. But this is kind of the problem of we're trying to guess a lot, and that's not something you should be doing as a presentation for something like this. We shouldn't be having to guess why we're doing A, B, and C. There shouldn't be so much mystery on something that should have been as simple as show me the gameplay. And that's what's annoying. Because, like I said, I think if it was shown properly, where they did go through the exploration, did attack some enemies in the meantime, and do it in proper real time, meaning you're actually trying to beat the enemies quickly so you can move on to the next part or go explore more areas. Like, if the enemies were impeding you from exploring, that is a reason enough for you to want to play the game more, because you defeat the enemies, because then you can explore at your leisurely pace. But if I'm having to make that reasoning myself based on 2 videos on 2 different days, I'm effectively trying to explain. Like, if I was a demonstrator, I would have been able to do that, because I would have been able to explain, okay, you've got an area, there'll be enemies will try to stop you from exploring, So it's better for you to take out the enemies first and then go explore. That's the point. You get reward for doing A, B, and C. Clear the area, you get more reward, and so on and so forth. But we don't understand what the reward system is. We don't know why the reward exists the way it does. We don't know why we don't know how fast the actual combat is, because they've done this really slowly. This is not the fastest way to have defeated the enemies. They've done this to show different abilities that Sonic has, but they, instead of showing how those abilities work, we just saw a fancy animation. We don't know if there was different button presses. We don't know if Sonic has different skills, if there's a variety of skills you can actually gain, because they've implied that these are just some of the skills, but it's like, oh, what if it's a list? What if it's a combo system where you get to choose your abilities? Andrew kept saying that there's no spin dash, but what if that is one of the abilities that they are actually keeping away? It seems a bit weird for him not to have spin dash straight away, but as an example, instead of having to, like, you use your ability and you have to draw your way around, instead of doing things that way, what if it's just a spin dash on one enemy? That would be great, because then it saves you time, and that means you can focus on the rest of the enemies. It's like they're trying to introduce elements that are more similar to, like, DMC, where you're supposed to control or crowd control, which I think is going to be the most important aspect about this game. It's going towards that sort of weird mix of DMC and DMC and Dynasty Warrior style combat, where there may be a case of managing your enemies, which is something that in Sonic Heroes they did a lot of. Like, you had to, corral, attack, take off shields. It's hard to critique the reward system when we don't know what the incentive you are killing for. From upgrades, resources are used in game. Exactly. Agreed. That goes back to what Faz said about the presentation. Example, 2 moments where the SEGA employee who recorded this made mistakes. Why would you do that without explaining why those mistakes matter? It just makes the gameplay seem janky. Exactly. I think this is the issue with both the gameplay showcase so far. They're too vague to get a real grasp on what's happening and makes the whole game seem aimless. That's exactly correct, Amadeus. That's basically the reason why I'm having such a aneurysm about it all. Zaf says, I was not. Andrew says, where's the spin dash? This is a perfect excuse to bring it back as an offensive tool. Yep, instead you're mashing buttons to do kung fu like Shadow in Sonic 06. Gameplay looks repetitive, just spam homing attacks over and over with an occasional special move. Also, I thought they learned from Sonic 6 that no one likes enemies with health bars. We'll see if the health bars actually do matter something. I don't think it's health bars. I don't think they actually got something with health bars. I think what they've done is they have defensives, at least based on the first 2 enemies that we saw in the game. So this one here, the idea is you had to clear the defensive ability. So if we look at this one for a quick second. So this looks like the core, and you have to take out the core, but the core is being defended by these balls. So you have to clear that first before you can do it. But the thing is, so here's the thing that I feel like I'm having to explain, that the game doesn't, like, this footage doesn't do a good job of explaining. This attack was blocked. It means that it was the wrong attack to use. So because of that, you had to try again. But because we didn't have that context, because I'm having to tell you, because I'm having to figure that out and tell you, you don't know why that was not effective. And in fact, it makes it look even worse. It actually undersells that particular combat piece, because that's supposed to be a really cool setup for a finisher. But why did that move back? Why does that have such an extravagant attack and flourish and effects, only for it to do nothing? So the question ends up being is why? So we get it again, we see it again, and look, again, it still didn't do anything. So we have to figure out what's going on here. What is going on here? So you had to clear all of that just to deal what damage? We don't know what and how that move was effective. We only saw the last move being effective, and that's why it feels a bit thing. So I guess you're not a fan of Sonic RPG on the DS, the special effects scene part is, especially is the air dash, where the only last hit did anything. See, I would, if you're talking about Sonic Chronicles Secret of Brotherhood, I mean, nobody likes that game. I mean, not many people do, and the music is terrible. Yeah, but the combat has never been a focus, and when it has been with bosses, they've been bespoke encounters that are made around Sonic's moveset. None of normal enemy encounters are like that. They kill the speed, and they're just boring to fight. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at with this Amadeus. The issue with that is I feel more like this game is actually running a lot faster than it should be in a fight scale, because you wouldn't go this slow. You would never go this slow. So something has been done on a presentational standpoint that makes it more frustrating to watch. That's what I feel like Sonic fans are feeling at the moment. I think they're overstating its weaknesses, but the presentation is not selling it. No, but that's probably one of Sonic's least popular games anyway. That's true. The Titan seems more interesting, but there'll be an exception on the than the norm. I actually think there's probably more Titans than we think there are, because I don't think that's the biggest Titan style enemy there is. What Armor said. Andrew says what Armor says. They either don't know or how to or don't want to make Sonic just a speedy platformer. I think they want to make it. They want to give Sonic more of a chance to be speed, to go around places, because we've been wanting an open zone style game for a long time. It's just more of a case of they're not sure how to present something like this, because let's be fair, there aren't many games in the market that actually does do what Sonic Frontiers is doing. Not the open zone aspect, but just his speed is being the main problem of thing. It's like making the Flash game. How do you make it so that his Flash, the Flash powers matter, but then you are attacking enemies that are way slower than you? That's kind of the suggestion that's being made here. And on top of that, Sonic is very much focused on platforms, so they have put more of a focus on platforming. It's just how they're presenting that this time around in an open zone environment. Like I said, I'm having to do a lot of the legwork here. I'm having to do a lot of the explaining and rationalizing here. But this is something I feel like should have been in this presentation and not split up, because it doesn't give a feel. The other side of it is, here's the other problem with this particular presentation. Maybe this was a pro presentation of the gameplay. And what I'm trying to say is, while I'm excited for the combat and I'm happy to see the combat, I actually don't mind the combat in this game so far. I'm going on the idea that because of the way that the whole video panned out, they had to cut it this way instead of finding enemies and attacking. I feel like I should just do a voiceover over this, and maybe this might feel better. This generally feels like they've learned all the wrong lessons from Breath of the Wild. I'd say Rush 1 and colors were good, yeah, but Faz, why make Sonic combat focused at all? I mean, that's true. I'm not saying why they should and shouldn't. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I am hoping there is a more story element and a design element that is in this game that would explain that. And the other side of it is, past Sonic games have always used a homing attack. Like I know Amadeus has said earlier that they don't want to be spammy, but the way I look at it is homing attacks like Sonic's gameplay has always been spammy. It's always been hitting them on the head, get right timing. That's what it is. It's literally just one attack. You don't get special moves. And this is the first time where I wouldn't say the first time they've tried to give him skills, but it's the first time they've tried to give him more of a move set. So he uses his legs more, he uses his hands more. He doesn't really need it, but like his speed is his biggest asset. The fact that he can turn into a ball is his biggest asset. They're trying to do a lot and present that, but I think this was not the best presentation of it. And like I said, I think the game, let me be very clear. I'm going to keep making this point while I'm saying that I do think that there is potential for this gameplay here. It's just a case of the way this video was cut and put together is terrible. I actually think it's more to do with that than I think it's to do with the game itself. Even the animations were poor, clearly unfinished. Why make Sonic combat first? But Sonic's whole gameplay is about speed, running around, and keeping up with momentum. Why have an entire part dedicated to combat which kills completely? The game is at odds with itself. I'm not going to say it isn't. Oh, please God, no Dynasty Warriors combat. It's so bland. It's to when I was making that point, it was more to do with crowd control than it was to do with the combat itself. Hi Gozo's World, how are you doing today? Why make Sonic a combat focused game? The good question. We don't know. Yeah, it should be a Shadow game. That's true. Shadow the Hedgehog deserves a sequel. He does. Also, Amadeus says, also I dread to see how this game is going to perform on Switch. Andrew then replies, yes, the Switch version is going to be atrocious. You don't have to do anything, Sega do. That's true. Instead of playing devil's advocate and theory crafting, you should just be discussing what we know. That's the problem. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of Sega's handling with Sonic Forces with the most mediocre game I've ever played, and Colors was a rushed out port with a large amount of issues still to this day. I want to see the series thrive, not just film but in its games, and it just feels like miss after miss. Everything they've done on Frontier is not inspiring any confidence. That's understandable. I mean, I'm telling you what we're seeing. That's the problem here. I'm trying not to play devil's advocate, which is kind of ironic. I'm actually trying to be genuine with everything I'm saying. Yeah, let me go back to Sonic Adventure Battle 2 days. See, that's the thing, is like, that's how far back we're going, but then tired, but okay, I just did a four live reaction videos this morning. You did? Oh my god. I hope you were able to try not to burn your throat out, yeah? I hope that video, I hope that words, they are escaping me. That's kind of the problem I'm facing with this, is that I want to be that's just a personal take. I love games like Adventure 2 and Generations and Unleashed. I want to see the series reach those heights again. Here's the problem with those particular statements. Adventure 2 was, as far as I know, from a critical standpoint, the most well-received game. Generations and Unleashed, Generations was really good, but was mired with performance issues. Unleashed was also really good, but a lot of people did not appreciate the game when it first came out. I'm going to repeat myself just in case. Adventure 2 was, as far as I remember, the most well-received game when it first came out. Generations was also well-received, but it had optimization issues. And Unleashed, as far as I remember, was the game that was like the step in the right direction, but everyone hated that game. Well, I wouldn't say everyone hated that game, but a lot of people disliked that game because of the werehog levels. It was only over time did people finally see how good Unleashed was, and that's kind of the same problem with a lot of the games that came out around from Sonic Adventure 2 all the way to Sonic Unleashed, with the exception of Sonic 06. A lot of the games had a lot of potential, and I've been saying this for literally years, that there have been design elements in those games that made sense based on what they had from feedback, but there were parts of it that were still experimental in this area that was not perfected. Literally everything from Sonic Adventure 2 to Sonic 06 was the adventure style, gameplay style, but the downside was other elements, or some things that weren't polished enough. And people do appreciate those games now. Like, people love Sonic Heroes now. They'll say good things about Sonic Heroes. Shadow the Hedgehog was the same problem. When it first came out, it was 50-50. Sonic Heroes was also 50-50. It still had jankness on both those games. But people appreciate those games now. So that's the problem I'm finding with this. Whenever I'm having to talk about this, or reason why I'm talking it the way I am, is the biggest takeaways that I find from games like this is I feel like it seems janky right now, but I don't know if it's actually true. Because when Sonic Heroes and Shadow and the Hedgehog was played now, it's janky, yeah. And yes, Shadow it's janky, yes, but it's still beloved in its own way, and in its own way, not for being or trying to be something else, but because it was being itself. And Sonic 06 is just a bad game, but everyone loves it for being bad. Like, it lives in infamy. So it's kind of a weird one when it comes to Sonic. Shadow is still bad, and Sonic Heroes is too repetitive. See, the problem I find is that I like... I mean, you see people calling Sonic 06 misunderstood. Time nostalgia does a lot to people's perspective. See, here's the problem. There is nobody who was there when Sonic 06 first came out to say that it's misunderstood. It's not people who were there who says that. It's actually people who played it after the fact. It's after the infamy. It wasn't... I guarantee you, Amadeus, that it wasn't people who were there who first saw Sonic 06 when that game first came out. When the people who had to live and breathe through the adventure generation of games and then see Sonic 06 come out, they are not the ones who say it's nostalgia. they're not the ones who are saying it. It's actually everyone who came after that. It's probably everyone who came after Generations and probably even Colors, or even going through the boom period where they say, do you remember the last game that was like that? Sonic 06. People went back to play Sonic 06, and guess what? They say it's not as bad as Sonic Boom. That's what they say. So it's not a thing. It's not a nostalgia thing. It's more of a time thing. People think it's misunderstood now because they have all the history books to read. They have all the textbooks to read. But right now, it's definitely, as things stand, Sonic 06 is still a bad game. But people want to play it because of how much of an ambition it was. It's like, why do people talk about this extremely infamous game and only then they say, it wasn't that bad? And it's like, no, it was actually that bad. It's just you're forgiving it. And that's fine because you're coming at it at a time point where remember, let me be more clear. I guess the best way to describe this is when Thanos says to Nebula, maybe I was too harsh on you, my child. That is basically the response that Sonic 06 has got. So when I look at Sonic Adventure 1 through 06 and then I see Sonic Unleashed was like, people hated on Sonic Unleashed till like 2014 at least. There was not many people who liked that game. People talk about because you can still feel its effects today. The lack of multiple characters, less ambitious stories, that's down to 06. Exactly. That's exactly the case. But the thing is like, I actually don't think it's some of the stories, maybe the stories may have been less ambitious, but multiple characters I think was a good shout. Like having multiple characters was not a bad thing. But I do think that they can go back to the Werehog playstyle, but just replace the character for Werehog for another character and just say it's Sonic and Knuckles 2, and it would work, in my humble opinion anyway. Because all of that gameplay just seems to work really well with Knuckles. You can speed up some of the gameplay stuff and just let Knuckles be able to climb things, and that would significantly shorten Sonic Unleashed if they ever decided to go back to that sort of gameplay style. But that's the problem with it these are great ideas and they're really well fleshed out, but not the thing that people wanted at that point in time. Oh no, that's exactly it. I guarantee you. No, it would. I actually think it would completely fix the long and boring part, because 1, you're playing as Knuckles. 2, Knuckles gets climbed, so that means you don't have to do most of the puzzle elements. And 3, he's stronger. He's just as strong as a Werehog Sonic is. So it solves 90% of the issues, because it means that you're shortening a 20-minute level to at least a 10-minute level, or even a 5-minute level if you're clever with the opening about it. Test the theory. Somebody, like, if there ever becomes a Sonic Unleashed port on PC, someone should literally just mod Knuckles into it, give him his abilities, and see how many segments you can just skip. Wouldn't fix the drop shadow issues during Death Pit's platforming segments. That's true. I'm not going to deny that one. I mean, there's going to be some sections where I think you won't be able to glide across, which I think will be really good for Knuckles. But now I'm talking about Sonic Unleashed and not Sonic Frontiers. And that's kind of the problem I'm having with it, is that the way they've presented this seems so so weird. That's basically it. It's so weird the way they've presented this, the way they've cut this apart, that I just want a clean gameplay. This is nice to be able to. It feels like this was part of the presentation, and not the actual, thing. Hang on, let me just quickly see. You did write something, didn't you? Don't worry, my throat is okay. I did Dungeon Fighter, dual new fighter, then 3 big state of play videos, my favorite ones. Alright, cool. Unleashed the comments. Yeah, you could use the combats, but there was no reason to it. There was no style me or anything. It was more like the longer you kept it going, the more you'd be able to, like, you'd be able to finish things faster, because you couldn't get your thing faster, as far as I remember. And it seems to be what you're seeing here. Now, Shadow is bad, still bad. How dare. Shadow is legendary. I did see it, Gozo. Thank you very much for reminding me. Changing Werehog to Knuckles isn't... legitimately, I actually think changing Werehog to Knuckles would fix a lot of the issues that you have with it. Because then you have Knuckles gameplay and Knuckles voice acting and basically just Knuckles. It's basically Sonic and Knuckles adventure. It's literally what you would have liked to have seen from a Sonic Heroes title in some ways. But anyway, that's just me wishful thinking on another game. The thing I'm seeing here is there is some good ideas here, and it shows that you can't just attack straight away. I wonder how Supersonic's gonna play like this. Like, I hope the Chaos Emeralds do have an element in this game. I do hope there's Supersonic in this. Like, imagine just flying around everything and just busting through everything. And I was like, yo, that would be cool. What are your thoughts on the PlayStation State of Play yesterday? I have a video about it, Gozos. Back on point at the current is, I really want to know if there's a recent build, because if it is, I'm really concerned about this game's hitting the end of year and being good. I actually don't think it's going to hit the end of year. I actually think they are probably going to take the time. I think I'm definitely thinking he's going to be in. I'm just wondering how the Chaos Emeralds are going to be played, and I'm wondering how the thing. See, this is how I feel. This is how I feel like is the realistic way of how that fight's going to happen. But we only see one example of it, and that's really annoying to see. To make that to see it, because this is, I just don't understand why the stopping part happens on this third enemy. But generally speaking, this is more like the more proper speed that we'll probably end up dealing with in game. I don't know, but let's have a quick one. Go this one. Okay, so he kicks that one pretty quickly. Takes 3 of them. 2, 3. Okay, so you can do quick kills. You can do quicker kills if you know what you're doing, which I think is fine. I think that's a good way of going about it. I think it's gonna be more like you gotta clear areas, take out the smaller enemies, then you can start battling the big one. Yeah, I hope they do fix some of this, where it's hard to jump up to things. I think they should just fix the jump height. But that was not a very smooth gameplay. I think they should have just kept that a little bit smoother, personally. And what are your thoughts on the PlayStation State of Play, Gozos? I thought it was pretty good, although a lot of the games were third party. It was very Square Enix and thing focused. Biggest hypes were Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16. But generally speaking, the other one is what's the other word I'm looking for? The other one was that some of the indie games are actually from people we know in the UK, or at least some people I've had some interaction with. So I'm hoping to see more of it. They did say that it would be a third party and VR focused state of play beforehand. That's true, but that it's a state of play, so I expect more from a state of play. If you want to do third party stuff, it's great. And they can always do that, but if you call it a state of play, it still have its own thing later for third party stuff. That's true, I guess, but it still doesn't change how I feel about it. Like, it was a good state of play, but I in the end I look at it that way. That it's like, oh, if it's PlayStation, you have to sell me on the idea of being PlayStation, being a PlayStation fan, or being a PlayStation guy, or being jealous of that content. Final Fantasy 16 is definitely that right now. But it's nice that they are bringing stuff to PC. But like I said, I just want to put a big focus on that's just a quick side note, like I said. And if that dumb ass triple dash animation played all the time, it's gonna get boring. No, that's exactly the problem. I agree with that. I agree that if things are gonna be repetitive, but the problem is we don't know how they got to this point. Since again, it doesn't seem like to do anything other than a special attack they already do. It's exactly the problem I'm having with it. It's exactly that, Andrew. Like, I don't think the gameplay itself presented as bad, because I still think there's still more to show. We still got like an entire half a year before to see more footage. And even then, there's still a strong chance for it to get delayed, and I'm assuming it will get delayed. I would rather that they did not announce a release date until they were comfortable putting it out there. I just don't know. Again, I feel like the presentation I'm seeing right now is definitely heavily focused on stuff that it feels like the way it's been cut is more janky than the actual footage. Because I'm wondering how this would fit if I'm wondering how this would fit if it was just with the original footage. What if this was cut together with the actual footage without the actual thing? What if there was actual voiceover with it? Have they on purpose tried to make this like as have they done this exact same video but with with the explanation. Is it they did do the presentation first? See, this is the bit I don't understand. It's like I didn't understand why this spinny. I don't understand this spinny. This bit here, I don't understand why he's sideways. That's the only bit that was confusing me. A guy talking about an invisible HUD to show what we get for doing stuff. See, my problem is that gets explained in a different video. Let me go back to yesterday's video, to Tuesday's video. I really don't understand why they split it. That's my biggest complaint, really. Is that I think splitting the video is the reason why why the response seems to be a bit hit and miss. So we've got the world premiere gameplay, which doesn't show any of the combat. We've got the combat gameplay, which they didn't explain they were going to do. Or at least they didn't explain it well enough they were going to do, you know? And that's really annoying. I hate that aspect right now, because that's why I'm having to argue. Not splitting the video doesn't magically make the combat look good fast. No, it makes it easier to understand why what's happening is happening. That's why. We had a 7-minute video that had no combat, and everyone thought it's barren, it's boring, it's this, it's that, it's the other. And then the other one is it's repetitive, it's two the same. So imagine you just put half and half in one video. Then it's just like, oh, you can go explore everywhere and there is combat. I don't suddenly feel like it's either barren or thing. And then you can be critical and say, yes, it does look a little bit repetitive. True. It's true. It can look like that, but that's what it feels like. If you have a month of gameplay like this, it's going to be a long month. Exactly. That's going to be the main problem. We have to do a lot of the heavy lifting of brain power just to explain, hey, please just put the videos together, man. Please just put the videos together. I just want them to just be normal. It's just dumb. Just be normal for 2 seconds and give me, if you're going to give me gameplay, just give me a normal gameplay. To be fair, technically, we've not had a second trailer that actually explains what's going on. We've not had our second Final Fantasy 16 trailer type situation where we have like a mixture of cutscenes and footage of gameplay. It's kind of strange we went from a trailer teaser to this. I don't know how normal that really is. I have watched the SEGA show live, that Mega Drive Mini announced with great classic things in the mini system. I mean, I'm gonna probably talk about that later, Gozos. If we have a month of gameplay like this, it's gonna be a long month. Yeah, you're right, Amadeus. Like literally, if it's gonna be like this, it's gonna be frustrating because you're just gonna aggravate your fans. People are just gonna be excited for Sonic Origins, and I'm not gonna lie. If it's gonna end up being like this, I can see fans being a bit. Do you know what? The Frontier stuff has annoyed me so much that I might not be interested in getting Origins on launch. And so that's already a little bit frustrating for some people. The problem is how repetitive and meaningless the combat looks. Pairing it with the video that shows traversal puzzles don't change that. You're lying to yourself to defend the footage. No, I'm not defending the footage. I'm annoyed with the presentation. That's all it is. Like the footage itself, yeah, there's some parts of it I don't like, but if you want me to say that. But the issue here is I'm going to be more positive about this. Even interviews, I don't know how much you'll be able to fix this. That's true. I'm just wondering why they've split it up in such a way where it's showing all the more aggravated issues. If, for example, you played it properly like a normal person and you went around the area and you started battling things and showed why things were important, yeah. You'd be happier with what you're seeing. If it was a 6-minute video where it showed half the exploration and half the gameplay, but put it in the setting where you explore a bit, then fight, and then go straight to the final mini-boss, you'd be happier with that footage. You'd be way happier with that footage. But the way they've done this is, if anything, to me, overthought out. It's just they've done it's a 14-minute video where in the teaser they showed, oh, we're gonna show gameplay stuff. I am, but it's the only way to get Taxman versions. I mean, that's understandable. I'm not getting Origin surprisingly expensive for only a couple of games with the extra features. That's understandable, Amadeus. I'm not gonna like thing this, but I can see people getting frustrated with stuff like this. Because Origins, like, my frustration is a very simple one. Show the gameplay properly with actual, like, as if you're actually playing the game and not this random thing where they had the first world gameplay footage, didn't explain it was going to be environmental only and they're not going to show any combat. Cool. Show combat footage. Okay, but it doesn't show you how you would actually see this gameplay stuff, like how the exploration aspect goes into the thing aspect. It feels like they've cut it out from the other part, and it would have been more natural if they had just kept it normal in that way. Like, there's literally a bit. I'll show you the literal bit. So, you go through this entire section, and it's literally right here. This bit goes into this bit. It's right here. Hey, I saw an enemy at the top of the tower, so I dropped down and decided to attack it. It's literally as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that. And I feel like a crazy person for thinking, no, I think the actual footage itself, what we're seeing itself, is still only a snippet. I think I'm defending it that way. But it is a frustration because it's right there. The footage is right there. Like, that's it. Like, if you had the combat without context, the combat doesn't mean much for context. But the reason why you found this enemy was literally because you went to the top of the tower. The literal game was meant to be like this. You went to the top of the tower, you saw the big massive mini boss, you went to the mini boss. It was meant to be as simple as that. And somehow it feels more barren. Like I said on Tuesday, if you didn't know that was an enemy type, you wouldn't have known otherwise. We had this conversation on Tuesday. That's what I'm finding as frustration, because it's just like, it's right there. The information's right there. It's literally cutting the two footages together, so it made sense. Hey, saw the big massive thing. Also, the music's not helpful, but you know, in this part, it's not high energy, which is what you expect to have in a boss battle. But I'm not sure why they're using the same one soundtrack instead of just letting it be the gameplay stuff. That's why I find it so frustrating. Even the bit here, hang on. This bit, I think, comes after. Not this bit. I think it comes here. See, we get closer to this bit, and it cuts immediately. I think this bit was the waterfall? Trying to see where this is. Oh, here we go. Let's see where this leads again. Oh, here we go. Look. We entered here. Guess where we are? Hang on, let me go back for a second. Guess where we are? Oh, look. Enemy type. Enemy type. Spire. Spire. It's just annoying. I'm literally seeing where everything is right now. The case when the only good Sonic game over the past years haven't even been by Sonic Team. I mean, it's not the only good Sonic game that's come out. Let's be fair. He's talking about Sonic Mania. But it's just frustrating that we think it's going to be a bad game. And we're so trained to think it's going to be a bad game that I don't want to think that way at all. And I think, yeah, the presentation's right there. If this was just cut differently, I think people would be enjoying this more. I will no longer respect your opinion. I never said it was the best game. No, I was going to say Sonic Colors, to be fair. But, you know, that's just me. Because I actually don't think Sonic Colors is a bad game. Yes, it had a rocky launch, but still a good game. At least that's my outtake. And I'm not saying Sonic Mania is not a great game. It's a thing. Forces is a disappointing game. I'm not gonna lie. I like that game, but I think, yeah, Sonic Colors is older than 10 years, but I am including the port there at that point. But you know, that's swings and roundabouts. Let's be fair, and I'm being very facetious. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being very facetious. Very facetious. I'm trying so hard. Yeah, I know I'm trying so hard right now. But yeah, the issue I'm having right now is that literally the gameplay footage is together. They could have just made this so much less frustrating as a Sonic fan to deal with, and it's literally the presentation. It's literally just the presentation right now. I do not like. Let's be factual about it. Personally, I don't have a problem with the combat. I think there's potential there. I don't understand where we need to know more about the skills. We need to know. I'm trying really hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being such a tryhard right now. But yeah, that's true. I'm not like if that's, yeah. I mean that's understandable. I mean to be fair, Sonic Colors, Sonic Rush Adventure, Sonic Colors, the DS games. I'm trying to think of the last DS game that came out for Sonic, but I can't right now. I think it were the only ones that I remember off the top of my head. Sonic Lost Worlds was on 3DS and Wii U. What's people's opinions on Legends Arceus? Because the gameplay footage was not very appreciated at the time. Actually, was it? I don't know if that was necessarily the case. I think a lot of people were really harping on the visuals a bit much. But generally speaking, I thought, as far as I had remembered, Legends Arceus was very well received when it first came out. I think if it was anyone who is being being over the top, was literally the only ones. I mean the gameplay footage before it got released. No, that's exactly what I mean. I mean by the gameplay footage was, generally speaking, was considered a good setup. But the issue with that is it is really good. It's just it was really good, but it's just got a thing, you know. Yeah, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, but the game. What I was trying to go is with the gameplay was probably the most interesting aspect. I just think the visuals were not all that. This is what I am talking about. Okay. The game world was empty and Pokemon moved at 10 FPS. Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. Then if we can forgive that and that can have more time, why couldn't we do it for this? That's the question. It didn't look good until the third trailer. That's true. The problem here is we have the gameplay stuff. And that's kind of the problem we have here at the moment, is that we have most of the... See, this is another aspect, by the way. Hang on, let's go to the rainy section that we get to. This bit here. Let's go to let's skip to the next section. This bit here is literally this bit here. And that's why I'm just to really hammer the point home. That's why I don't like this way of presentation that they've presented here. Like nothing about it feels straightforward. And that's why I'm having an aneurysm right now. Why it sounds more like I'm having a fight. It's just like, look, literally that section down there is where you go to thing it. They've skipped a lot. But we are talking about a development build that seems pretty janky. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no, it isn't. And I'll never consider whenever they do something good. Why should I kill these things? Issue. This isn't an FPS issue. I mean, that's true. I'm not saying no. Honestly, one of Sonic's team's biggest problem is that they keep changing stuff so much. That is, I'm not going to lie, that is something that is annoying. I personally like them to keep it consistent and perfect what they have made. and then add stuff over on top, which they did do for a long time. That's the only problem with Sonic 06, which was Sonic 06 was a bit too much of a departure of what they were trying to achieve. They overcomplicated a simple idea, but it feels more like Sonic Unleashed was like the culmination of what Sonic 06 was supposed to achieve, an expansive story, or at least a grand story that had it was meant to be this sort of grand world adventure that previous games didn't have that feel for. It was basically, I think that's what made Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 so good, was that it was actually pretty tight-knit. Yes, there was little other areas you could go to, but the world was still smaller than the world type situation. Now 6 was natural progression from Adventure 2. It was being rushed is what screwed it. There was many more issues than just it being rushed Amadeus. There's more. We'd all laugh at the story if the gameplay was good. I know, exactly. That's exactly it. Like I said, we'd forgive a lot if a lot of the gameplay is good. And that's the problem I'm finding with this, is that this isn't how I would play my Sonic game. If I was playing this game, I wouldn't be this facetious on running around things or stopping and doing something else. Maybe I'd run away. Like, you know, here's a thing I'm not seeing. Why do I have to attack every enemy if every enemy might kick my butt? Maybe there is a level up system in this game that we just don't see. Maybe there is skills that we are using. But this is the thing. I'm having to do the explanation. That's why I'm having a problem with the presentation. Because it's like, it's clearly set up for it. We'd all laugh if the story. And people think I'm crazy when I think Silver's in this game. It's a direction of Pokemon games should have taken from the start of Switch Gen. I mean, it depends. Like, people would have loved to have seen that, and other people would have done it. Sonic of all series doesn't need a leveling or skill tree system. True. It's not necessary that it can't have it if it's just done right. That's all it is. It has to make sense. That's all it needs. I mean, technically speaking, the skill tree, or at least even the skill system, was introduced in Sonic Adventure, where you had to get items to use certain abilities. You had to complete the game to get new abilities. It's the same. It wouldn't be that much different from seeing a skill tree. Sonic Unleashed had it, and it may not mean so much when it came to the speed elements when you're playing as Sonic, but it mattered way more when you were playing as Werehog, and that I understand makes more sense. It's just a case of whether or not it made sense for the other side, for this element. And the thing is like, it feels more like they are going to go head down that road. There probably will be some form of skill tree. They've implied that there is a skill tree, and we don't know how that is implemented. There's probably going to be other stuff we don't know. Yeah, you know my opinion of Unleashed. No, that's exactly my point, Ben. It's like, you're exactly the example I would use here. Werehog is bad. Some people would love it. Some people hate it, and so on and so forth. Hey Gozos, you want to talk about the conversation we have in here, Gozo? appreciate you telling me that though. Hey Ashua, how's it going, man? There's a big difference from skills that are gained naturally and menuing constantly to add skills. It makes sense in something like FF, but that's what the games are about. It isn't for Sonic. Exactly, that's the problem we're having here. Is they may have done it in a way where it worked. They did it. They tried the skill system in Sonic 06. Didn't go right. It didn't make sense then too. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it couldn't work now. It's just a case of if it's presented correctly, and they've not shown any presentation for it. I even find the daytime levels to be overrated, as they really show the potential flaws of boost system, which Generations did fix in a lot of ways, and level design. It didn't really have a skill system. Did it not? I'm pretty sure it did, because you had to have didn't you have to level up to have a better boost? If I remember correctly. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The skills you bought were basically upgrades from the adventure games. Okay. That makes more sense now. Still have to upgrade. For the record, I like Sonic. I feel like I need to say that, or else I just seem like a huge hater. Amadeus, I'm literally in the chat of people who love Sonic. The problem is being a positive Sonic fan versus, or being more positive focused. Let's put it that way. Like, let's be fair, I'm the outlier here. I'm the weirdo wanting to believe in the game, wanting to see the good in the game. I'm the weirdo here. But at the same time, I'm also willing to forgive, and I'm also willing to talk about things, type situation. I'm happy if people want to dislike things. You are full in your opinions for it. But at the same time, I'm not going to be railroaded into believing something bad. I want to believe in this game. I think there is very good concepts in here. like I said, let me be very clear of what my side of the conversation and what I'm arguing. It's not the opinions of whether people think it's good or bad. It's not whether whether what I'm seeing is good and bad. It's the way that this game has been presented to make people feel the way they do. Because at the moment, I'm liking everything. I actually like the exploration stuff. I actually like the gameplay stuff. But the problem is the way they've presented it has been such a... It's done in such a way that it's frustrating the fan that just wants to have something simple. And we didn't even have all this information to begin with. We said it was going to be all throughout June, but we don't know what that meant. We got exploration. It was the first gameplay stuff we were ever going to see. And we had high expectations because we wanted to see how that gameplay was going to work. But we only saw one side of the gameplay. And then only after that, we said, oh, it's going to be on Friday. We're going to get the next information. So they're going to drip feed us information, which is so annoying. So it's... And then looking at the footage, I'm literally showing you on this, like, this is where this would have turned into this. This is where this would have gone into this. And if it was being, if it was just streamlined into saying, right, we did some exploration, attack enemies, exploration, attack enemies. That is the gameplay loop. That is what I feel should have been happening here. And that's what makes it more frustrating. If they just did, all right, we're going to go explore one area of the map. Say, here's where you're based in. This is why you go to the tower. This is why you go see things. Just remind everyone it's a beta build. It is indeed a beta build. We have to do that anyway. And they'll probably fix a lot of the pop-ins, but why should a pop-in? They could have cut the pop-in, if anything. I remember when I was so hopeful for that game after... Oh, hang on, let me just quickly read what's being raid. The best feel for Sonic 3D Sonic game is still adventure. I wanted to believe that in Forces too. I mean, that's understandable. That's okay. Like, I know Forces has its fans. Even I'm okay with Forces personally, but I do feel it has. I have my problems with it too, just like anybody else does. That's all it is. I'm just more positive minded. That's all it is. I remember I was so hopeful for that game after Odyssey came out. I was thinking, wow, Sonic must be just as good as this. Then played Forces. Yep. Yeah. The expectations, it really hit. Forces being bad is dumb because it was using an existing and good formula and it gutted it. That, I'm not going to lie. There was some things that was definitely taken out of Forces that should have been kept in there. I wanted Forces to be good so much. Mania really revived a lot of hope for Sonic and it ended up being a short-lived. It's ironic that Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations and Colors brought so much goodwill to that game. And a lot of people looked at Forces as like, yes, it's that generation of good feeling games. And the thing is Forces still had some great ideas. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think a Forces 2 could definitely happen with improved elements, with just improving upon it. It's like, it was okay. It was not great. It was okay for me. And I would love to see a Sonic Forces 2, which then finally fulfills the potential that Sonic Forces can bring. Downside is whether or not they'll actually do it, and whether or not they'll actually remember to learn from it, because it seems more like it can be done, and people keep saying that it's easy to dunk on Forces. It really is. It has some really good ideas. It's just really annoying to see that potential squandered. So yeah, I've gotten to the bottom of the chat. Oh wait, no, I'm not at the bottom of the chat. I thought I was at the bottom of the chat. What speech is as good as this? Yeah. It's funny how everything Sonic outside of the team is doing good. But that's not necessarily true because Sonic Boom did terribly, but it was only the animated stuff was thing. Only reason why 3D Mario is still good is that they are consistent and stick to the formula that works. Thank you very much for making me stay hydro, bro. Gozos, what are your thoughts on Sonic Frontiers, if you don't mind me asking? Hey, any spin dashes in chat? Yo, how are you doing, PR Valkyrie? What did you think of the... we just watched the combat gameplay for Sonic Frontiers, and I am literally the lone defender right now. Not gonna lie, I am definitely the lone defender here. Any spin dashes in the chat? Forces 2 can happen if it goes back to Generations controls mechanic. I think that's probably what they end up doing if this does happen to go down, because Sonic Color, as far as I know, Forces 2 financially did well, but the downside is that it needs to actually fulfill the promises that Sonic Forces 1 kind of brought with it. If they do decide to delay this game, I'll be happy for it as long as the polish is there, and that's all I'm hoping for. 64 to Sunshine was Flood to Galaxy. Not a fan of Galaxy, but people still love it. Too happy with Odyssey. See, the difference there is that the main mechanic is still the same. The main gameplay stuff, if you played as just Mario, all of it is pretty much is the same. The downside is more to do the pluses, which is in this case Flood, Galaxy using the gravity system, and Cappy being in Odyssey is what were the additions of those games. They were the gimmicks of those games that introduced a new mechanic of said game. But generally, the core stuff was still all the same, like all the mechanics, all the gameplay, all the fields. So when you look at something like this is brand new from the ground up. This is a brand new idea, a different way of playing Sonic, and so on and so forth. And it's more like but it's kind of weird how the most successful franchises, at least I've found, have been ones that have been keeping to the main core dynamic, whereas Sonic has always changed. And that usually leads to the whole argument of people just want consistency. People want one gameplay style and stick with it. There's nothing wrong with having a 2D and 3D mechanic, but stick to one 2D or 3D mechanic. If you can have multiple, Mario can do it, but make sure it's properly fleshed out and simplified so that people aren't looking too hard about it. This is a brand new mechanic. I ain't gonna lie about that. This is a brand new way of doing a Sonic game. The closest we ever got was meant to be Sonic. The Sonic game that was, I think, cancelled on Sega Saturn. Sonic Extreme, I think it was what it was called. Anyway, going back to point. Mario can have multiple different gameplay styles, and it works. Like, you can have it. You have the new Mario Bros. You have the 2D, 2.5D style games. You have the 2D games. You have the 3D style games. You have the Mario Kart games. It definitely shows it can work, but they kept with one style and actually kept moving it forward. I don't think you can. It's very hard pressed to find a bad Mario game. Or a game that was received poorly. Even I think Galaxy not Galaxy. Sunshine was the closest to being received poorly, but that was at a time where there was high competition too. People preferred Sonic Adventure over Sunshine, and it was only more over. But even then, it was not a bad game. It was just not as liked as another game type situation. And even now, people still play Sunshine. So it's definitely possible for Sonic to have multiple gameplay styles. Again, it will always come back down to whether or not it will be consistent. This is always going to be the main argument we'll always have whenever we're playing any Sonic game or see a new Sonic game for them out. Fans just want to see consistency with a style. If they do want to go around this area, then make 4 or 5 or make it its own series. There's nothing wrong with you going back and forth. There's nothing wrong with going to Generations. There's nothing wrong with going Lost Worlds. Even Lost Worlds wasn't technically a bad game. It was just a game that people did not want to see at that point in time. That's the problem we have with Lost World. Lost World will have its time in the sun. It's just a case of that was a well-polished game that did not it's not what people wanted to see, because people want to see Generations. People were happy with Generations. So it's one of them. It's one of them annoyances with when you see games like this. When you see a new game, it's very easy to drag it down, and that's why I'm more positive about it, because it's just like it's not just to play devil's advocate. I am genuinely okay about this. I do see the bad sides. I'm not blind to it. It's just I want to focus more on the good stuff more than anything else. The Bowser's Fury was an amazing spin on Mario. It was. My mom's giving me tea now. She gave me food. I said no. She gave me tea. I can't say no. That's about as. I thought the mini boss battle I saw was cool. No, that's exactly it, Zaf. Like, if you thought the mini boss battle, that means that there is potential for it to be good. Because I don't think that's the biggest boss size that you get in this game. This is at 10. Like, for some reason, I can only be 1080 at 60 frames. I don't know why. But yeah, this is literally the last. This section came from this section here that we were just in. Sorry, not here. Where is it? Here. When the door opens, and you finally go to this section leads to this section here. It's just really weird the way they've done it. Not gonna, after waiting well over a year for actual gameplay after whole Colors for Ultimate Fiasco, this feels like a slap in the face. Completely fine. Yeah. Bowser's Fury was amazing. Not much. I looked at it and will say a no for me unless they do changes, like agree with people's thoughts on this. Unless they do changes, I'm guessing you mean by you agree with people's thoughts on this. That's completely fine. Bowser's Fury is amazing indeed. Yep, and that's why it works. Meanwhile, Sonic's core is changed all the time. That is true. Doing great. For Sonic, Pierre Valkyrie says, doing great. For Sonic Frontiers, I hope it's early footage. I'm also going to assume this is early game enemies because it feels like they don't do much. Like the big enemy just shoots out rings and pushes Sonic back, but doesn't do damage. But I will assume it's early game enemies. I really like the concept. I just hope we see more polish. Pretty much that's what everyone's feeling right now, Pierre Valkyrie. It's like you said, you do get hit by the enemies, but like I said, we are seeing a version of those enemies that feels a bit slow, and we are seeing only a cut version of the footage because it looks like they were experimenting with stuff during that footage on purpose. They were doing it, they were being slow on purpose in that gameplay, and it's not exactly the most helpful. I don't know if it was IGN who did it. I don't know if it was a SEGA staff who may have done it. I don't know if it was a Sonic team staff that did it, but it definitely feels a bit weird the way they've presented this, and I think that's doing more. I'm not gonna lie. If it was IGN's decision to make this, I think IGN's doing more damage to the game than they think. You know, I have the best Sonic. I mean, they've been notorious. Like IGN's general critique has been a bit notorious in terms of Sonic's franchise and being good or bad type situation. The best Sonic I like are... Sorry, Gozo says, the best Sonic I like playing are Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic Heroes, and classic Mega Drive ones. It's funny you say Sonic Heroes, but can you tell me a bit more why you like Sonic Heroes, Gozo's World? Pierre Valkyrie says, Sonic is similar to is a similar situation to Digimon games. They experiment a lot with concepts, but the polish of the ideas can be a mix, which makes experimentation feel both beneficial, but also its own detriment. Lost Worlds were good. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for reminding me that. Lost Worlds, okay. See, this is the thing. What is like, that's literally the duality of man. So Andrew said it was good. Ben said it was okay. That's the duality we're getting with Sonic games, is that people have a preference to a Sonic style that they have. As long as it's got good polish, it doesn't matter whether people will think one thing is okay or not. It's just more of a case of when they want to see it. So it's like with Mario at the moment, when it comes to demonstrations, and I'm only going it from a demonstration standpoint, because that's the closest I get to trying to put something like this together, like putting a presentation together. You would go with the idea of goodwill of previous games to say, hey, if you loved Mario, you're going to love this because it's Mario. It's more Mario, you know? And the way you would say a Sonic game would be like, if you like Sonic experimentation, you're going to love this because it's more experimentation. You know, that's your thing. You're going to love the speed. You're going to love the platform. You're going to do this. And there is speed. There is definitely platforming in this game. We just don't know how that exactly perceived in the footage. And like, we don't actually get like proper platforming in an explorative sense, except for when we run up the walls, and it was like, that's kind of cool. I like that, but I like the idea of being able to go from one place to another. So I'm hoping we get to see some footage when we see the full preview, and not this and not this version of it. We actually get more of an understanding of how the open zones work, and hopefully we get multiple zones to work off of so that we can see actual platforming elements in there. Because this is like a more wide version of Banjo-Kazooie in that sense. I'm hoping we do... it does feel more like I said, we're going to see in-game levels. But if we don't see it, then I want to understand what our objectives are in the map. Lost World is good. I love Sonic Lost World's movement. The level design was just lacking, so mechanics didn't get to shine enough. Exactly. If they did a Sonic Lost Worlds 2, would you have been happy with that? Like, someone can make a poll on it, if anything. Would you want to see a Sonic Lost Worlds 2? Like, exact same mechanics, but improved game design. New poll. Would that be a thing? Yes or no? Type in chat. Ben says, I just love that they brought the spin dash back and got rid of the boost. I mean, that's true. The thing is, they brought the spin dash back in Generations as well, but they've turned it into the drift system, which, to be honest, I think is great. They should have kept it as the drift system. But I do also believe that the boost system could just as easily have been a thing. I hope there's a new build where the boost system is literally them doing like the running spin dash. So like you see in the Sonic OVA, that would be amazing. Please make that happen. I'm pretty sure that's also less intensive on your on the processor. That's why it deserves a sequel to flesh out the gameplay style. I was hoping this would be more Lost Worlds, but the boost is knack. I'm good. Back. IGN confirmed the footage was done by Sonic Team. They haven't played it at all. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Then they've done this for a presentational standpoint. I think this was a dumb way of doing it. Wait. If they've confirmed the footage was done by Sonic Team, did they cut it like this, though? Was it... Whose decision was it to split the footage? That's what I want to know. I won't trust IGN or present it either, so it probably wouldn't have made a lot of difference. Just the opening Crush 40 was epic. Is that all the reason why you liked Gozo's World? Is that the only reason why you like Sonic Heroes Gozo's World? Is that it? Is that really the only reason? Corinthian returns. Sorry, Amadeus says it was. I assumed it was an NG employee playing it with a Sega rep. How did they let the gameplay like this out? That's true, because a lot of IGN employees suck at games from what I've seen of them in the past. Wow, Ben. This isn't a preview? No, this isn't the full preview. Apparently there's a full preview. They've only just explained this now, that there's a full preview. They kept saying there's going to be more footage throughout the month, but they've not explained how they're presenting this information, and that's why everyone's having like, I feel like everyone's having a massive aneurysm about the game. 100%, the starting levels of Lost Levels was amazing, then halfway it kind of just dropped. I just want them to go back to adventure roots. Footage is all Sonic Team. IGN is just ones posting it. Okay, did they do the cutting? Did they cut the video? The guy running this news month said so on Twitter. Okay, cool. Also, gameplay with Metal Sonic ending. That's true. I can understand that. The music on that was amazing. I think I've reached the bottom. But yeah, I have been talking for a while. I've been talking about an hour and a half, about 7 minutes of footage. Welcome to my stream, everyone. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Jeez. I appreciate all the talking, by the way. I can't thank you guys enough for that. But yeah, it's just that's kind of the problem we have with this. I guarantee you, if we had Sonic Forces 2, someone would complain it's not adventure. If we had Sonic Adventure 3, someone would complain it's not. There will be a contingent that will complain about A, B, and C. But here's the thing I would compare this most to would be Legend of Zelda, because Legend of Zelda always has a different mechanic. Generally speaking, has main core concept the same, but the level design is always different, and they've always had different experimental styles and so on and so forth. But they only usually do one game of it, so it's kind of weird when we never see a multiple versions of the same line of games. But they've done a clever thing of saying, well, this is the timeline for Toon Link, or this is the timeline for Young Link, this is the timeline for Old Link. That's a lie. It's kind of weird. Are you sure? Is it a lie? Because Zelda will always play as basically the same. I mean, that bit I do. I mean by experimentation in terms of departure from the previous game. So they'll play generally the same, but the mechanics they'll introduce, like for example, your buttons are the same, but you'll always have a new, like, that's a departure from the previous. Yeah, Breath of the Wild is pretty much the first one that changed it up significantly. Really? All right then. No, then in that case, I am wrong. I am completely wrong. I was wrong about my analogy with Zelda. See, I put it on stream. You can't say I didn't listen. Zelda's approach is closer to Mario. That's true. Okay. I appreciate the lessons in that. Zaf and Corinthian. I hope you are both doing. I hope you're doing well, Zaf. I hope you're enjoying the stream. With that being said, I don't know what to really explain right now, because we just anyway. Ocarina of Time, though, Skyward Sword are all basically built on the same foundation. It's why Breath of the Wild was a significant shift. Okay. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I would have thought that the mechanics, the controller being so different from each individual console, and the art style, I kind of think they are significantly different. But yeah, I get what you mean by saying basic foundations. They've got like a clear setup. I think that's probably the reason why a lot of people prefer the 2D games as well, because they've got a more clearer and more concise and more consistent playstyle. 7 zones, 2 acts, 7 Chaos Emeralds, and a story with interesting elements. I think the only one where it didn't do as well was literally the one game that didn't have 7 zones, which is Sonic 4. And it's kind of a shame that Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 didn't do as well as it did, or could have. It made sense from what they were trying to achieve, but again, it was just more like there's a reason people prefer the 2D games. It's because they have proper physics, momentum. That's true. Not gonna lie. That's completely correct. Completely correct. This game doesn't. Are we talking about Sonic 4 or are we talking about Frontiers? Because we don't know how the momentum works in this game yet. Like, that's the main thing I'm seeing right now. See, I also think that the music was a terrible choice. I wonder what the Japanese response for this is, because maybe it might have been like... I'm wondering why has it... my problem is that maybe they... Like, I'm trying to... Yes, we do. We saw Sonic run downhill and not gain speed, and run uphill and not lose it. I mean, to be fair, he's super fast. He could probably run down and uphill at the same pace. But we are also considering the idea that there is going to be a skill tree on speed. I think there will be a skill tree on speed. Japan doesn't care about Sonic. I actually think that's not the case at all. I actually think Sonic is like Mickey Mouse in Japan. Maybe Mario is probably more like that more than anything. But it's like Mickey Mouse. You know, like how Mickey Mouse is so big that people... It's not that they don't care. It's more like they're so aware. But that's the point. If you play a Mania, elevation affects your speed. That's true. Mickey Mouse. No, Japan really doesn't care about Sonic. There's also a part of the first gameplay where Sonic does a backflip and goes forward. I mean, no, that makes sense. That's normal for Sonic. I'm not gonna lie. His momentum, his physics don't work in real life. Pokemon is Japan's version of Disney. Oh, is it? Its sales are always way lower and internationally, and not just because there's more and more people outside of Japan. Ah, okay. We'll make it really hard to stand for you, bro. I'm wondering if you could destroy the legs outright. Like, you can see damage, but you can't see it broken. Like, I wonder if you can actually, like, take out his thing. So they've run away. See, this is another problem I found with it, is this fight looks short, right? This fight looks short. But the issue here is they've ran away, and that means there's part of a fight we haven't seen. There's also a part of the first game where going forward. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, that's part of them using it. So the backflip thing is a forces issue they've brought with them. Reusing animations is not really a bad thing. Reusing assets is not really a bad thing, because Yakuza does it all the time as well, and it's not really seen as a bad thing. It's just it's more of a case of how polished those animations can be, because sometimes they do it as a cost cutting measure. And like I said, I'm not a huge like if they reuse an asset from an older game, I'm not really too fussed about something like that. Or reusing assets like that outright. So for example, if you see a building or a thing, I think that's completely okay. It's if the animations are bad, and that's not good. Oh, okay. I'll need to see the section where he does the backflip moving forward. I should have put the chat on screen. I should have done that. Where's the... It's probably here. See, I actually think the most interesting element that we saw in here at the moment was literally the climbing up element here. I thought this was really cool, because it was something different we hadn't seen. And the thing I did like was literally how this boss was actually keeping you away, because like Sonic's super small, so like how can... If Sonic allows you to... If you can run up any bosses with Sonic, then how do you beat them? And this is the thing, this isn't going to be the only style of boss as well. I'm assuming that we're going to have more Shadow of the Colossi style gameplay, where you have to try and take them down before you can actually attack them. So the boss levels are going to be around about 5 minutes long, maybe 10 minutes if you have to put a lot of thought into that aspect. I'm trying to find the moment where he does the weird backflip. I think it's here. Oh wait, it probably would have been this bit here. Hang on. I think I know where it is. It's the bridge scene, isn't it? Where they go into the creek. Probably here. Wait, no, that's not it. See, this is what I mean by like there is actual platforming, but the problem is that I feel like there's not enough of it at this point. Yeah, there you go. There's the spin dash where he does the black flip thing. No, we just saw it there where he did a thing. It was saying again a presentation issue. The climbing part confused me because right before that they showed Sonic running up the same type of wall. So why climb, which is a slow instead of a run? Again, presentation issue. See, that's exactly it. Like that's why I'm finding to be the main problem really, with this entire presentation style is I don't know if this is common in Japan. I really don't. I don't know if this is something they do in Japan where they show gameplay footage like this and it would be fine. Like it would have made sense for it to be on something like Nico Nico where they have road shows. So they'll take the game around to different TV shows, TV stations, and talk about it because it gets people talking about those games. Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't make a difference. It's people talking about it. The thing here is, if, like I said, if this was done in a manner where you could see the gameplay along with the thing stuff at the same time, it gives you a better through line with the combat and things. So that's why I always keep going on about it. It's like I really do feel like that there's elements in here that we're not seeing, not because we can't see it, but because it's not been explained. And I think we're not going to get those answers until we get the doc with the staff members. So I'm hoping that gets fixed. I hope that they do explain it, but I hope we get a date for everything. Can we just? I don't want to guess when this is going to be. I really don't. But that's what it is. I think I've rambled on long enough about this game. I really am trying my best to be like as positive. I'm trying I can understand anybody looking at this game and thinking, do you know what? This is not the most positive thing. It's not the most positive experience. And for me, it's like, no, there's a positive game here. For me, it's a net positive more than it is a net negative. But it's frustrating having to be that guy to explain it. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm having to be like, yeah, this looks terrible. And it's like, no, it's not that bad. And it's like, why? It's like, well, here's your reasons. I've pointed out 30 different details. Yeah, but as a composition, it looks like crap. And it was like, that's the problem. That's the problem when I put it like this. When I present it like this, it's like I can't argue that point. It's like can't make you feel any less. So it's that's what I feel like I'm having as an issue with this style of presentation. I don't know if it's IGN's decision to have cut it that way. Fair dues, if the footage is done by Sonic Team, fine. But why was it cut this way if that's the case? Because they had to cut it and they had to render it. It's got their logo in the bottom thing. So that's I want to know whose decision that was. If I can find a decision on that, then I know who to blame, because I don't want to just blame IGN and I don't want to just blame Sonic Team for no reason. I'm trying my best to not blame either. I'm hoping it's just a bad mistake, and that's about it. But if it was IGN, I feel like it's an IGN one, because IGN specifically did this. Or it could have been Sonic Team who decided, you know what, we want to present it this way. It's just like, we still yet to see anything Sonic Origins related. On today, we've not heard anything about Sonic Origins related on today's stream. We probably are going to see some stuff to do with Sonic Origins, but that's where it's going on at the moment. Anyway, that's my opinion of it. I think I've taken this as far as I can possibly go, but that's really annoying that I have to figure out all the questions myself and be like, here's the question I need to ask. 1, are there skills in this game? Are these the only movesets we're going to do? 2, how does the exploration actually... I blame whoever decided Sonic should be an open world game. I don't blame them at all, because everybody's wanted an open world Sonic game. Zaf. Everybody wanted an open zone Sonic game. And literally because every fanboy who got into... suddenly was a Sonic fan and had access to Unreal Engine 4... one of the first things they did was try to make an open world Sonic game. Have you seen the amount of Sage fan games that have a Sonic open world game? There's plenty. Sonic open world games isn't what people want. There's been an appetite. There's been an appetite for that for a long time. Who the F is everyone? Everyone who had Unreal Engine for the actual dev kit. Game designers, that's everyone. That's who I'm talking about. There's been the designer who have decided, I want to make a 3D version I want to make my own Sonic level that's in 3D, and they use the Sonic as a template. Yeah, it's definitely an open world. So the only people you can blame is us as fans. But yeah, there's always been an appetite for it. The only person I blame at the moment is I'm blaming IGN only on one thing, and that is not giving us a proper time scale of when to expect Sonic news. Because if they are the ones who are dealing with the exclusivity of it, I don't want to be guessing when. I want everything now, so that way I know what not to complain about. We initially did not. Those people are wrong and are insane. You can't convince me otherwise. Zaf, I do not intend to convince you otherwise. But I do want you to go look at Sage. It's the Sonic Fan Game Expo, I believe it's called. Sonic Amateur Games Expo. And you can see a lot of examples of 3D open world games that use 3D as a thing. It depends if Sega will let them. That's true. There is that too. So I'm hoping if Sega is listening and they like me and they don't hate me, please can you release a schedule of when we're gonna see the next Sonic news, because I feel like that would eliminate some issues to do with communication at the moment. Initially, because we thought there was only going to be the one gameplay stuff from Tuesday, and we weren't aware of the thing stuff. The problem here is are any of them actually good though? Like you said, I can't convince you otherwise, so you'll have to go try it for yourself. That's the problem. But we did play a few of them on stream, and a lot of them were fun. A lot of them are fun, because I never really thought Sonic should become open world. It depends. It really does depend. Presentation is everything. Concept is everything. I think you should check out. There is one that's currently out. I think it's called Sonic U. What was that? What was that one with the story mode and it had full voice acting and everything? I think it's run through Patreon or something. If someone can remind me, that would be really cool. But yeah, that should explain a lot of the ideas in place. I think I'm just going around in circles. I apologize if I am. But yeah, you should definitely go check out Sage, and definitely go check out you should definitely go check out the 3D submissions to that game, because to that series. Sorry. So yeah, if I can't tell you whether any of them are good. I liked them. And for the trend of every game series' natural conclusion to be boring open world slogfest is worrying. That's the thing. It's like they can't use Patreon and Sega resources, or else they'll get shut down like that other Sage game. Yeah, that's understandable. So my understanding is they can't use Sega resources. They have to make everything from the ground up. But there's been a few 3D open world Sonic games that have had that feel and can prove that it can be done. But the problem is it's resource very heavy. Like, it takes a long time for a game like that to be made. And that's the other problem I have with this, is that I don't want to underestimate how long it takes to make a game. So to perfect a game as well is even more important. 16 is very Sega are okay with Sonic fan games, but not with monetizing them. Pretty much. There was this one Sonic game that had like a whole story mode, and it had chapters and everything, and it looks really, really good. I'm pretty sure if you do a quick YouTube search, you'll find what you'll be needing. But once Sonic Fan Games Expo does roll around, we will be playing some of the games from it. Hopefully my PC doesn't die from it, but we will be playing it. They can't what's the thing? But yeah, I think that's everything. Right now, just my general consensus. It seems more like chat's consensus is most of it is generally more 40-60 to, I wouldn't even say 40-60. It sounds more like 80-20. 80-20 on the negative, and more and my personal opinion is more 60-40 on the positive. Like, the problem is I do understand why things are done the way they are from time to time, but I really need them to find a better through line with explaining this game. Because right now people still think it's an open world game and it's an open zone game, and they don't know the difference. And that's another thing that needs to be explained a little more clearly. So we need that. We need these little things to be explained properly, and whereabouts where this. The other one is they want to make sure that this is still a beta build and not a final build. They don't want it to go gold yet. I'd say the last gold point should be in. I think goalpost should be. If they're gonna get it out, December would be very late, but I would probably argue February would be the best time to release this game. If they're gonna decide to polish it, if they decide to delay it, but normally Sonic games come out in November, so We'll see if that still continues, if that still holds up. I could still be wrong. It could still come out in September, between September and November time. But my hesitation goes towards November. We'll see if there's going to be a delay for it. And I hope that it does get polished. I really do hope that they do decide to go with go for, when they release it, to go for the most polished look. Right. Okay. I'm going to shut it down from there. I'm going to shut down. Is there anything else people want to say about the game that hasn't already been said? We are going to be reconvening. Official release window is holiday 2020, which it says holiday. That could be December to February. Yeah, it's probably going to end up being February. February wouldn't be a bad shout. They have release games, I think, in February as well. So February would not be a bad shout. It just happens to be, sometimes when they say holiday 2022, they always say they normally mean November time, because they want to get in within the holiday period for Christmas. If they say December, that means they're not aiming for Christmas. Not usually, anyway. So hopefully. Also, I want to hear more soundtracks than just this one, because I'm not going to lie. The combat does seem slower with this particular piece of music, and I'm not sure if that was intentional or if this is the actual soundtrack we're going to hear most of the time, because you gotta remember, we've been hearing that soundtrack for literally 7 minutes. It's like a 30 second time loop. Not gonna lie, that is gonna get really noticeable really fast, and it may get even frustrating really fast. Sonic is usually known for its high energy, so we need that high energy soundtrack. So hopefully we'll get some more variety in that sense. As the composer said, we haven't heard the proper music yet for some reason. You should, whenever you see or hear this, I want to hear about it in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, please do join it, because then we can talk more about it. And I will battle you in the trenches, or battle you on the beaches, or whatever way you want to say it. I will try to be as positive as I can, and then you can always tell me how wrong I am. I'm fine with this. Yeah, I'm not sure why the slow music kept playing when you're in combat. I'm guessing it's edited. Yeah, it is. It's definitely edited, because the music, the same issue was happening with the open world stuff too, because it enhances the mood, but it also enhances wherever you're feeling at that point in time. If it's more negative, you're gonna hear it and see it more, and if you're more positive about it, you'll think, that's great atmosphere, but why is it the same soundtrack? So there's that to consider. So yeah, anyone else got some closing thoughts? Because I have no idea what to really add right now. I could go into like little things that they've added. Like for example, they showed the not this one, it's this one. There was a bit that they showed that was pretty interesting. It's a small thing, but it's a small detail, but I feel like it's an important detail to mention. So if we go here, I think. So obviously you can't just straight up attack them. You have to open them up before attacking them. So see this, I feel more like this is a upgraded ability from what we saw earlier. Because we saw the same ability earlier. If we go to this one. So that had blue, purple, and light blue. Oh, that was a little early. Let me just do this thing before I forget. Oh, that's still too early. Oh, alright. It looks like it was the same one. It was just closer. See, that's the other problem here, is that it looks like there was this extra move at the end. That just because you do like special abilities, time doesn't stop for you. That's why if all the music is slow, then I have to ask, is it really a Sonic game? See, I don't think it is. I think it's more to do with the atmosphere of exploration. I feel like this is the exploration soundtrack, but not the attack soundtrack. I feel like the attack soundtrack will be some sort of thing. Not gonna lie, this enemy looks boring to fight. He does look boring to fight. I ain't gonna lie to that. Like, yeah, he can look like that. He's not doing anything all that much, but he is hard to beat. Not gonna lie. Because if you take out the music, run around, spam homing attack for a minute. But the thing is, he's not doing homing attack. That's the problem here. We know he's not doing homing attack the entire time. But I do understand that's me being facetious. Like, I know I'm being pedantic by saying stuff like that. What you're doing is slightly different from the main thing. Should the last 10 seconds but take 10 times as long? Yeah, exactly. So my problem with this is why I feel like there is a skill tree that's going to be involved with this that makes attacking enemies and defeating enemies way faster. Because that's the only reason why I would feel that it would take so long to defeat an enemy like this. Should and that's why I think it's like the more you explore and upgrade your Sonic character, the more easier. So you'll be able to, like, for example, I actually think the way he's traversing is still pretty fast comparatively, but he is still only at regular running speed, like Sonic without the boost type situation. But technically speaking, you should be able to zip through that entire area as fast as humanly possible. That's what I would want to do. So the question here is, are we seeing only a very, like PR Valkyrie and everyone else has said in the chat, is this still an early part of the game? And it's not explained that this is an early part of the game. It looks like this is about 10 to 15 minutes in, and we are in the more open world element. So we've gone past the story part, and we're now in the main part of the game. And when I say main part, I mean by like in the actual part of the game. Some things unlock, some things are not. Like, we don't, like, probably one of the first things we're going to do in this area is literally go to that tower, much like you did see in Breath of the Wild. And once you get to Breath of the Wild, once you get to that tower, that explains what you're doing next. I'm guessing Sonic moves slow in this game to make the Switch version possible to load everything in. I mean, as far as I know, we don't even know what version of how that's really going to be done yet, because we don't know how the optimization is going to work. I'm hoping, like, this is the thing I was saying on Tuesday as well. I hope the optimization is definitely well covered. If the optimization is not covered, it's not going to be worth the time, because you want speed, you want everything to run smoothly. Even if it compromises some of the graphics, I'd rather that it compromises some of the graphics just so that we have a better game. Xenoblade and Breath of the Wild have large open worlds, but you move slow in those games to make it possible. That is true. I never considered that. But that might be the reason why each level might be as big as a plateau. But then you can only get to the next zone by having to travel in a certain way to get there. It based on the way they've presented this, because there's still some like grindy areas that are by the sea. I would assume, I'm making a wild assumption here, that you have to travel in a very specific way to get to another island. Maybe either Sonic gets slingshot to another island, like literally slingshotted across the sea, or Tails travels you to another area. There's that to consider too. See, do you know what this music reminds me of? It reminds me of the nighttime levels in Sonic Unleashed. Even some of the chords, maybe. Hang on, what if I change the soundtrack? Hang on. Sonic Unleashed. Do 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 do. Well, I've forgotten which theme that one is. Do 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 do. I don't know why I written Sonic Unleashed YouTube when I'm on YouTube. I'm just gonna quickly check something. Give me a sec. Ba, 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 ba. Do 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 do. Nighttime. Is it this one? I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Like, I don't know why Good Chrome's been working really slowly for me lately. That's not it. No, that's not it. That's not it. Nope.
Now though, enjoy the combat.
We're just gonna. I guess we'll just go with this for now. Jungle Joyride Night Vision. Thank you very much, Pia Valkyrie. Okay, let's see how this works out. Probably not got half the TV RAM for it to devour. I mean, too fair. Google Chrome is really eating stuff. I'm not sure why it's eating stuff. Yep. I feel like there's more dynamic now. Yes, for some reason Google Chrome is right back. So does this not feel like there's more dynamism now in these battles? Am I the only one? Does this feel a little bit better? I mean, you don't have the sound effects to work with, but... Maybe not this bit, but you know, you get my point. I've tried to add it in such a way. Am I the only one that feels this way? I understand Pia Valkyrie's agreed. Anyone else? Oh, it did slow down. Actually, that works really well. Oh, was that like a... I just noticed this now. Was there a last minute dodge? Yeah, there was a last minute dodge. The attacks in sync with music was so satisfying. It was. Yeah, that was a last minute dodge there, by the way. I hope to have something a little more substantial to show with when an enemy pops up. The stomp is an actual attack now. Yeah, so it seems more like that this is not the right music. This is not the right music for this sort of thing. This it's like all the wrong ways to present all of this, and it's like, hang on, what if we just change the soundtrack? Oh wait, hang on. Is this actually good? We're just not noticing that the music is actually really, really one note. Hang on, let me try something. Let me try something. Shadow. Turn back piano extended. Okay. Right. So let's see if this works. Let's see if this is let's see if this stupid idea works. Give me a second. While I say some stupid things and try some stupid things.
Never get a copyright claim again.
Nope. Go away. 2, 1. Go away. Okay, so if I go back here and just... So we're going to test a theory here, yeah? We're going to test a theory. This seriously gives me Phantasy Star Online 2 vibes. Wouldn't be surprised if they got some of the staff from that team to help with this. You mean by like the setup or the music type situation? Maybe this is too slow. Maybe this is too slow. Let me just fix this. Maybe this is too slow. Is this too slow? Is this too slow? Somehow I feel like at moments it works. This is all you're gonna hear. It's literally this 30-second, this 40-second soundtrack for the next 7 minutes. Imagine for a second, this is all you heard. This is all you heard. This is all you're gonna hear. This one piano. Same 40-second piece. Let me see if I can get the music, the sound effects back. See, this is the thing. I'm the only one who thinks this is a cool idea. Like, this is a really good... there are elements in here. Some of the animations are really nice. Like this bit here, I thought was really interesting because he launched them while he was still in his shielded state and was able to kick him somewhere. And it's like, that's cool. Don't know if it's a life bar. I don't know if it's affected by it, but you know what? It didn't, I guess. This is the only way you can weaken him. And it looks like he has that's a common ability he has. Also, I think it lacks explosions. At the moment, everything's kind of ethereal, but it lacks actual like combustion explosion. He punched him that time, didn't kick him. See, this is the bit that confuses me here. But what I'm saying, Faz, is lots of the things we see seem meaningless. Yeah, no, I completely understand. That's the problem. We are all in the complete. We're all on the same page on that one, and I can understand why. The problem is like I'm that guy who asked that next question, which is, well, what is it supposed to mean? And you're right. Like a lot of the enemies do feel a bit meaningless, and it probably is intended to be that way because there are two types of enemies. You've got the common enemies that are going to reoccur and reappear all the time, much like in Breath of the Wild, and then you've also got like actual enemies that may be in my estimation, is that there'll be 7 open zones, which each having a Chaos Emerald that will be protected by a much larger enemy, and that is powered by said larger enemy. But like I said, I'm having to explain that. Go on. Why does that kick? Why do that kick if it doesn't damage it? You mean the one where he does like the cross kick or the rider kick? I think the problem with it is we don't know if it did do damage. That's the problem. Because either you're like you were saying before, there's no UI, so we definitely know that the UI is either missing, hidden, or it's not fully there. You know that, everyone in chat knows that. But then the other issue is maybe that was ineffective because that's not the thing to attack. Clearly, the thing you needed to attack was the thing inside. And why do the kick is then answered by, it's a presentational question. We did it to show you that we could do an attack like that. But generally speaking, it's not something you would do in any other given circumstance. Again, I'm trying to rationalize something that potentially has merit, but not always going to have merit. Like that. See, this is a very small thing. A very small thing that wasn't in Sonic games before. Literally, he stands here, gets attacked, and that was literally a last minute dodge. And it was meant to be a leapfrog. Takes less than a second, but you don't see it if you don't know it. There probably was a prompt for that too, but we didn't know that, and that's also another annoyance. So it's why I find the issue of flow, and it's pretty much stuff you've already explained in the chat. It's that whole thing of trying to figure out what rationale did they try and do a thing for. Like they did this to show you that you can hit him on the back and it would do more damage. I guess that's an example. Like that's a weak point. But then this looks like it's later in the stage because it looks like it's a sunset time, different weather time period. You can come, and this looks like a far stronger Sonic, by the way, because he's able to beat him in one hit, whereas before it took him 2 or 3 hits to make that happen. So clearly there is something that's changed from a different situation. Even these bosses, like this, I feel like this is lacking a sound effect. We don't know if this thing is saying something. We don't know if there's a sound that's coming off of it, emanating from it. Aside from this, obviously. But there is a sound effect and voice acting for Sonic. See, the other thing is, I don't know why when I hear the clicking noise, I don't know why I hear it. In before, this is actually the Switch version they're playing on. Because I don't think they did say where it was being like played on, did they? See, this is another thing, is that they skipped this entire section to do something else. And that bit always, it always irks me because now I'm having to answer questions that shouldn't be there. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough to pretty much get the point driven home that I'm liking the footage, but it's more like I'm not liking the presentation style of said footage. There's things here that I feel like would have been appreciated with better context, and we don't have that, and because of that, it's leading. I'd say I can't speak on all fans, but at least everyone here is leading to that sort of frustration. Whereas chat will just tell me his thing. Hi Yakubu, how you doing today, man? Happy Fast Day. Welcome to stream. I think I'm gonna keep going around in circles. No, hang on. Let me just quickly check something. But yeah, that should answer the point a little bit more. Hopefully, that is something. Yep, game is bad. It's too late. I mean, I'm hoping we get a hands-on playthrough. Hopefully, we'll get a demo for us to try for ourselves. Hopefully, or maybe it'll get taken to a roadshow and we'll see more gameplay from it. But yeah, I think that's as much as I can explain, because it's like if I really want to go into it, like there's loads of little questions I have to ask. Like for example, it's like Andrew said, why do attacks when we know it might not do damage? But the thing is, it worked here in this context, taking out these defensive style attacks. And I like this enemy type. It's really cool, but this was a poor representation of said enemy type. Because if this was an interesting enemy type, you had to do all that just to get to the core and then beat it, which is fine. And then it showed another example where this attack, we don't even know if it was helpful. You know? And it's silly stuff like that that makes us question things. So I feel like once we have the UI, once we have the full preview, we'll have an understanding of it. Anyway, I'm going around in circles. Thank you for everyone for waiting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up for Smash Bros. So that concludes everything to do with Sonic Frontiers, at least for the time being. At least I don't know if there's any other questions that people want to address right now. But we've kind of explained two things here. One, the music is not helping the gameplay stuff. It's not helping the situation at all. And two, it's great that it's great to see gameplay footage, but we don't know what the combat purposes serve yet. At least with Final Fantasy 16, we knew why the combat was happening. We didn't have to know in the first trailer, and we never got a trailer until 2 years later, until like literally yesterday. And we would have liked it if we had more information we would have had more contextual information. I still wish that they didn't split the footage. I think if someone decided to download both videos and just cut the two together, I'm pretty sure it'd be much more appreciated. I'm pretty sure that that entire thing would be much more appreciated, because we wouldn't have to figure out context for ourselves. And figure out the thing flow. Do you know what? I am not lying when I say I am half tempted to download both footage just to try and edit it together. Just to say, this is what the footage was supposed to be like. This is what I think should have been the correct flow of the vertical slice for this game. But we'll see if I have the motivation to do that. Yeah, I'm glad that you liked it, Yakubu, because it feels like it's a bit of a minority situation. I don't think people hate it yet. I just feel more like right now it's definitely on a downslide. It's at a downward pendulum. Hopefully people will not see it that way. Hopefully we will be proven wrong and we'll see more stuff that will be helpful to us. But as it stands right now, I hope we see more stuff. If you do happen to see some stuff in the to do with Sonic Frontiers or anything that you like, put it in the Discord. We will make sure that I'll get a chance to get around to talking about it, either on stream or at least in the Discord. So we got that happening. Anyway, give me a few minutes while I go set up for Smash Bros. If you do want to join in, get your Smash Bros ready, and we'll get them in. Thank you very much. I shall be right back.